Hello and welcome to episode 55 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, the podcast where we take a random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list to review. My name is Colin.
And my name is Niall.
Yeah, I just changed it up there for this episode. And this is Random Movie 3004 on Metacritic's all-time movie list, The Trip to Italy from 2014, starring Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan, or the other way around. It's got a Metascore of 75 and a user score of 5.9. It runs for 1 hour and 48 minutes. And I think it took in a box office of 6 million USD. So, yes. So
that's rather surprising that it actually took that much. Because it's a TV show that they've glued into a movie, which is a very unusual configuration.
No, you didn't get the chance to watch the first series, did you?
I have not. I've seen a couple of clips out of it. I watched a couple of clips, years ago. Yeah. I think this kind of falls off the pace a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, so I watched the first series when it came out, and I think everything that was great and unique and innovative about the first movie or series sort of is repeated again, and the new surroundings and the new scenery and a little bit more plot development doesn't really sort of make it a better movie. It's still quite funny in places, but it's still the routine of Brydon and Coogan riffing off each other, and it's pretty much a half improvised script.
I have a question for you on that. So did you watch it as a TV show or did you watch it as a movie?
I believe I watched it as a TV show and a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there were certain bits in the TV show that were just so funny to me. It was just really funny for them riffing the different James Bonds, and they do it here again, obviously. And then there's just this. I think there was a lot of memorable moments, and I think people were entertained and excited by the first movie / TV series. And I think we'll see we see that in the user score. It's 5.9. You know, I think a lot of people were disappointed that something didn't change or something didn't evolve from the first iteration.
What's funny is the two lads talk about this at the get-go. They're talking about, sequels being poor traditionally, and I think they put the curse on themselves because while there is genuine guffaw moments in it, there's also bits where it's
a very strange movie because there's a plot, but there is no real plot. Nothing happens. I think the scenery, the food, and the improvisation drives the movie, and that doesn't really hold the mustard, if that's a saying I can use.
Not for an hour and 48 minutes. I think in small chunks, say a half an hour chunk or 20-minute chunk, say like a TV show, TV series, I think that's the correct format for something like this, where no plot isn't really an issue, because you're just watching two lads taking the Michael off each other and having some nice food, and then you're finished.
Yeah.
And then you watch it again next week. That's a great format for this type of show. Nearly 2 hours of the same thing over and over again, repeating themselves over and over again, effectively the same format, sort of in a loop. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's directed by Michael Winterbottom, who's done quite a few English successful movies, some cult classics. The summary plot line is Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon reunite for a new culinary road trip, retracing the steps of the Romantic Poets' grand tour of Italy and indulging in some sparkling banter and impersonation offs, which they do. Re-wetting our palates from the earlier film, the characters enjoy mouth-watering meals in gorgeous settings from Liguria to Capri, while riffing on subjects as varied as Batman's vocal register, the artistic merits of Jagged Little Pill, and of course the virtue of sequels. And as you say, in the first scene, basically we see that, Coogan and Brydon are the Observer, which is a newspaper in England, want them to do a second trip to recreate their English voyage in their first series. So the movie is split up into days of the week. So we first see Monday, they're in the car and they're to get to, Rob Brydon can't help himself. He pretty much, his character that he plays is, they both play themselves, but different versions of themselves, obviously, because Rob Brydon has an affair and everything. So
I hope he was playing a different version.
Yeah. The thing about it is the roles are reversed in season 2, and I think audiences don't really like that either, because in the first series, Coogan has a girlfriend in New York, and the photographer that you see in this movie, he sleeps with her, and Rob Brydon is the character that is seen as the homebody, the perfect husband, the perfect dad to a new child. And in this one, it's very jarring that he just goes and sleeps with somebody. It's kind of weird for his character to do that.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that, to be honest. It didn't feel that arc or that storyline didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just jarring, very jarring, as you say.
Yeah, I remember watching it for the first time years ago and going, I don't like that about Brydon. He was supposed to be, because Coogan is portrayed as the aloof actor who hasn't really made it big time. I think it's quite a reflection on his real life filmography. Actually, he's obviously made Philomena since this one was released, which kind of made him into he got what he wanted, got recognition as BAFTAs and Oscar nominations. But you can see throughout this movie and in every series that he's sort of reluctantly respectful of Brydon's comedic talents, and kind of jealous when he gets a role during this movie. And also he just he wants that level of fame that he just doesn't have, and it always goes back to
it does he does also mention his 10 minutes in Tropic Thunder.
Yes, he does. A specific link that we always bring up. Actually, there's quite a few links to us here, because he does Clint Eastwood. They do Clint Eastwood.
He does, yeah.
From our previous...
I'm not whispering, I'm just clenching my teeth.
Clenching my jaw, yeah. So Monday can be just sort of just summarized as they go to their first restaurant and they do what they do every day. They go through different impersonations, Pacino, Italian Job, the Batman one.
The Batman stuff is great. Like the Michael Caine off.
Yeah.
Very good. And Bane and Hardy, the voices that they have, and the fact that they're basically in the, you can't really hear what the people are saying. So they're just going, yeah. There's like 5 minutes of that, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's when this series or movie is the best, when they're just improvising these things. And the first movie was just full of it, and I think obviously they thought, hey, it worked for the first one, let's just continue to do it.
Why change what works? And if they changed that one bit of this, this would have been absolute dog poop. Let's be honest.
I just really love Coogan and Brydon can do impersonations. They can do them very well.
They are brilliant. They are fantastic. And they have their strengths and weaknesses in the impersonations. Rob did a great Michael Caine. He won that one. Later on, he gets put to shame for a certain American Italian actor. De Niro, absolutely wipes him.
Yeah, Coogan does a great De Niro. So here's the deal. Did you watch Stan and Ollie?
I have not.
So I think I watched it on a plane, from what I remember. And I'm obviously the worst critic when I'm on a plane, because I hate everything.
Everything's miserable on a plane.
Yeah, but I really thought, it was an okay movie, but I thought Coogan really just did an impersonation of Ollie or Stan. I think it's Stan, right? Stan Laurel. And I just really didn't enjoy his... I think he just did it as a sort of impersonation, and he just sort of left the acting. I'm Stan. Yeah, but
he didn't make it his own, which is a problem.
Yeah, but he definitely sounded like him. But it felt really much like an impersonation.
Not enough, though. Really, you have to put something of yourself into it.
Did you watch his Jimmy Savile TV show?
I can't bring myself to watch it because of the nonsense of Mr. Savile.
Yeah. I watched it, and again, I thought it was better than his Stan portrayal. But again, he veers into stereotypical, like Jimmy Savile stuff.
Just pushing it a bit too far,
but he is pretty eerie and creepy as him. So
that's a problem with that, is if you're doing an almost comedic impersonation of somebody like Jimmy Savile, he's Jimmy F. and Savile. He's a horrible man.
Yeah. Yeah. I read a little quote. He's like, yeah, I kind of had to think about whether I wanted to do this or not.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's like doing a comedic sort of Hitler sort of thing. No, you
Yeah.
kind of get
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
with it
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. Yeah.
but 20 years after World War II, it mightn't have gone all that well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's there's certain little tidbits of a plot in this movie. It's really nothing. Like we see on this Monday section that his son, Steve's son, calls him. He's in Ibiza with the family. He's hating it, so he's having teenage angst. And then Rob's calling his wife, and every time he calls his wife's just having issues with the kid, and so I'm in the middle of something. By, and so he's very disconsolate with that sort of situation as well. So we have in the first sort of Monday as well the setup that they're following Byron and Shelley's path through Italy. Now, I did a bit of research on Shelley and Byron today, and it very much they're sort of there's a thing called a Byronic hero, where basically Steve Coogan and Rob
Bionic
Brydon
hero.
Byronic.
Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
That would have been a better movie, I guess. Yeah, so and they pretty much play the part in this thing. They're pretty much copying. They are in the same sort of melancholic
Yeah,
aura and feeling and time of their life when they are actually just thinking about how old they are and how time has passed and what's ahead of them and what they're actually doing now. So,
and I get that, and unfortunately, like in my opinion, that actually doesn't add to the movie. It kind of drags it down into where this is supposed to be, in my head, like a comedy, of two people having a trip around Italy. This serious tone and this, quite frankly, depressing subject matter that I'm of an age where I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting old. I don't want to be reminded.
well, it's certainly like they definitely set this up on the Monday because they go to Byron's house and blah blah blah, and they get to the final restaurant on Monday, and there's a couple of young ladies, and Coogan is saying, they look at me, and if I smile, they think of me as a benevolent uncle or a pest.
I love the pest bit.
Yeah, it was very good. But like it's that thing, and that's like, yeah, like we used to be young, and you could smile at these ladies, and it wouldn't be seen as creepy,
Sorry. Yeah, but also it also feels a bit, I don't know, not leery,
contrived,
but a bit not contrived, a bit
a
bit sleazy,
yeah. Well,
staring at young women, going, oh yeah, young women, oh.
Yeah, I think it's very Byron-esque, though. It's very Shelley-esque. They were very much driven by their sexuality and had many weird affairs,
rubbing their legs as they look at a young lady.
Exactly, and young men as well. So yeah. I was looking at Byron's epitaph to a dog today. He had a dog called Botswain who died. He died of rabies, and Byron
rabies.
Byron wouldn't leave his side. He didn't even care that he would bite him or whatever. But he wrote. There's a massive epitaph in Newstead Abbey or something like that, and it's bigger than his own epitaph, his own funeral sculpture.
Good.
The two last lines are lovely. It's like, to mark a friend's remains, these stones arise. I never knew but one, and here he lies.
Good. This is a proper one. This is proper poetry when you're crying over your damn dog. Enough of this love crap. Dog's more important.
Yeah. And and so Shelley is his buddy as well, and he's they basically just kind of bring up their work throughout the entire
Shelley's
movie.
life is bloody miserable.
It is. He died in a drowning accident along with another dude, and
28.
Yeah, I think he was 28, and then Byron died. I've read his Wikipedia bio today. He was a weird character. He went over to Greece. He was invited over to Greece, and all the Greeks, they were fighting the Ottomans at the time, and they were going, all right, you're going to lead our army in the thing. And Byron's not a soldier. But then
No.
they all just knew him as a rich dude. But anyway, before he could lead it into the specific charge, he got tuberculosis and just died in a room. So he didn't die.
He wouldn't last much longer anyway, to be honest.
No. So his Shelley's most famous work was Ozymandias. I didn't have to do it for secondary school, but it's a crazy big thing. And also, what was the one? Yeah, he did. He wrote The Necessity of Atheism as well.
Oh.
He was very interesting. Also, Byron, he wrote this newsletter for a while called The Irish Avatar. And I read it up first and I was like, I don't like you anymore, because it was like, he was very critical of the Irish, but it's not as it sounds. He was critical of the Irish not being standing up for themselves against English unionism, or Irish unionism, I guess would be the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was very much on the side of Irish nationalism, and
he was a dirty Fenian.
He wanted to be. Yeah, but both Byron and Shelley were very much anarchists in a way. They were. They
didn't go with the flow.
No.
What was the phrase? He was, from the moment he was born, he was shaking that tree.
Right. Yeah, they definitely both did it. They packed a lot into their short lives, that's for sure. Anyway, move on to Tuesday. We see some nice ladies. They're getting into a boat to go to some other island, and what's the name of the movie they're doing Anthony Hopkins from? Damn Your Eyes.
It wasn't. I haven't seen it. It's not Master and Commander or something like that. Or
no, it would be. I think it's an 80s movie or something. Damn Your Eyes.
Mutiny on the Bounty or something.
That could be something like, it could be actually Mutiny on the Bounty. I didn't actually.
It was very funny though.
They just kept on going.
Yeah, that was very good. Like this is where this movie shines, where the two lads just break off into two of them doing the same voice, and they're basically competing who can do the most accurate and ridiculous version of it.
Yeah, and they're sitting down during this sort of break to an island, and they bring up melancholy as well again, and 40, you have to crack a smile to not look gloomy and things like that, and it's sort of
when you're under 40 and you're looking miserable, you just look interesting, but over 40 you're a grumpy old man.
Yeah, and they did this in the first movie as well. They pretty much sort of riff on each other if they're dead, and if Rob had killed Steve, he would say his epitaph from prison. Right, Rob, get back to bed.
That's right. I need a spoon with someone.
Yeah. That was very good.
Yeah.
And so then he's so Rob is flirting with this Lucy chick from the boat, and he meets with her on a beach, and he just constantly does this Hugh Grant impersonations. Just it goes on for quite a long time. You don't really see a lot of real Rob character in this. He just does impersonations to get himself through interesting scenarios. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Listen, that was the most unromantic romance scene ever. Let's be honest. That wasn't very believable.
Yeah, so while he's getting with her, Steve is reading Byron in bed, and so like it's a complete opposite switch from the first movie or TV series. So Wednesday comes along, Rob wakes up, Lucy's in bed. He does his Hugh Grant. Exactly. Hugh Grant again. Fuckity fuck.
That was funny.
Yeah. Again on Wednesday, the theme of death and melancholia comes up again. He basically, Rob saying to Steve, yeah, listen, one day they're at the beach, because that's when Shelley was on a funeral pyre on the beach. He said, one day we're going to be on a slab. And Steve's like going, yeah, okay. Enough. Have you,
dear God,
have you read The Diving Bell and the Butterfly?
I have not, I'm afraid.
That's one of the things I bring up a lot. I read it years and years ago, and so Rob brings it up here that Steve might be like that, and his nurse will be torturing him because he can't move anything, and his nurse will be leaning over him.
That was quite humorous.
Yeah. So this Diving Bell and the Butterfly, it's an autobiography, and it's a guy who basically finds out, in about 4 years' time, you're going to have locked-in syndrome. So it's
Oh,
it constantly just it goes towards the end, and even at the end of it all, and it just basically stops when you can't type anymore. And the one thing you just get from it is, even though your life as you know it is coming to an end, it's really really difficult to live in the moment. Just really difficult unless you
that
meditate, I
sounds
guess.
hyper depressing.
It actually, but it did affect me a lot. That book actually it affected me like Marley and Me. It's so sad.
No, don't talk about that, man.
Yeah, I know.
That'll end me.
Yeah. What else happens on the Wednesday? Oh yeah, he finds out the photographer's coming from the first season.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. The hotel lady is showing Steve the room, and he says a stupid joke, and then just sort of embarrassingly tries to cover it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she walks out there and goes, "Fucking idiot."
Yeah. Rob finds out he has a caster. He has to do an audition over the phone. They're outside, and the receptionist walks past, and he goes, "Lovely gate she has." She walks past. And I think Rob goes, "Yeah, probably padlocked."
Padlocked.
Very good.
Yeah.
So again, we see a sort of a contrast at night when Steve is sleeping peacefully and Rob is riffing on lines, going absolutely nuts. He's like looking at the mirror at himself, just talking in different voices to himself. It's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, he looks kind of manic. I kind of enjoy that fact, but he looks a bit. Well, he looks wrecked, and then he just keeps blasting through different voices.
Yeah. So Thursday comes along, and Steve's agog at Rob's audition and having a lead. Well, Rob says it's a lead, but his agent never said that. It's a supporting role.
You're just doing Al Pacino.
Yeah, so he gets a receptionist for some reason to do it with him, steals a kiss with her, and Steve is not. You can see he's just rolling his eyes internally at it. He doesn't
dirty
really,
little bugger.
he doesn't appreciate Rob's artistry at times when he's not involved.
Yeah,
One Hand in My
Yes,
Pocket from
certainly.
Alanis Morissette in the car.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's a tune I really enjoy, and the fact that some more old men enjoy it kind of makes me happy.
Yeah. They get lost going into Rome and have a lunch with the two ladies. So it's Steve's agent and the photographer who he's had it with before. Of course, they do, as you say, they do a Marlon off as well. Godfather. A lot of movies we've reviewed or mentioned
Don
in this.
Corleone.
Yeah, so we have The Godfather, we've got Clint Eastwood, and we've got what else? Sean Connery. We've had
Kumquats as well for some reason.
it's not in
Quat,
this.
come.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It is very hilarious.
That's later.
Out
right?
of two words, out of one word.
What? Come, Mr. Bond. Yeah. So they have a Pacino off as well, and then they head to Shelley's and Trelawney's graves. And the
Yes.
agent, I've never seen Roman Holiday. Have you? I need to see
No,
it.
I have not. It's not. To be honest, it doesn't sound like something I would go out of my way to watch.
No, it's a classic, I hear.
I believe so. If it pops up in the list, I'll absolutely do it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, nah.
Yeah. So Lucy, the boat lady, is calling Rob saying she misses him, and Steve and the photographer are flirting. Friday, Pompeii, Man in the Box.
Steve's being cranky.
Oh yeah.
Does not appreciate Rob's jokes about a man who's dead in a box.
In the
In
first
fairness,
season,
he's dead a while.
well, that's the thing. I was thinking, like, how long? What's the cutoff point where you can just stare at a corpse and make jokes?
Depends on the person.
Well, Pompeii is what, 2005, 2000?
I think that's enough. 2000. Too soon. Yeah. In fairness, that bit, fine. I'm okay with the jokes there. It's a bit dark. Now, had he been doing jokes about the next couple of visual scenes where his families and kids petrified,
Yeah.
that wouldn't have been as funny.
Yeah, so he has a big conversation with the Man in the Box. Brydon is known for his Man in the Box impersonation. He's very famous for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically just has an internal voice. It sounds like
He had to do it, let's be honest.
oh, it was made for it. They probably were plotting out this season and went Italy, Italy.
What are we going to do?
Oh.
We need to do Man in the Box.
Yeah, we need to find a Man in the Box.
Pompeii it is.
Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of crypts and stuff they could have done then as well, but yeah, this was probably the best one. But yeah, it's I want to go to Pompeii. It's one of my sort of top sort of 3 places I want to go to very soon before I'm too old to enjoy anything. Byron-esque.
Very Byron-esque of you.
Yeah.
Don't go by a boat or you'll be washed up, bloated,
Exactly.
then on a funeral pyre on the beach.
Yeah. So, so they have more food, and they do go into a Michael Parkinson impersonation interview, which I found very funny.
Yeah.
So this is when he mentions he's in Tropic Thunder, and Brydon's constantly cutting in his Parkinson, won't let Coogan speak at all during it.
Don't interrupt me when I'm interviewing someone.
Yeah.
Steve, don't interrupt me.
And Coogan is actually pretty much laughing as real Steve at this point. Once again, Alanis is in the car.
Yeah, very stalkery song, this one.
Yeah, and Steve's like going, no, what are you doing in my bedroom? Yeah, that's interesting.
I didn't invite you in here.
Yeah. They get off and they're debating slope v stairs. I always wonder about that. Which one's better,
Weirdly,
slope or stairs?
I really associated with that. I was like, yes, I can identify with that because I've taught it 1,000 times.
Yeah. Especially in places
stairs?
like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I could take the slope.
Because the slope has, you're constantly sort of on a teeter. It's like, oh.
Yeah, but then the stairs are jarring,
on your hips and your joints.
My old hips.
Yeah. So we'll leave that debate for the experts or for.
I'll just lie down. It's probably safer.
Yeah, just roll me down and put me in a barrel and roll me down. Rob gets the part. They have this conversation about kumquat as bonds, and have the bonds thing. What else? They talk about Humphrey Bogart, but it's not really that interesting.
Nah, the Bogart thing.
Gore Vidal. I don't know anything about Gore Vidal and Byron being similar. I wanted to look up Gore Vidal today, but I didn't.
And then there's a bit of Capote, some excellent Capote impersonations.
Yeah.
I assume they're excellent.
They're pretty much just riffing off each other, like, oh, can you waggle one ear at a time? Can you waggle one brow at a time? It's just constantly competing with each other.
Yeah, and that's what they do the whole trip.
Oh, yeah. And it's what they do in every iteration of this. Rob calls his wife. She just goes, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Bye.
Bye.
Steve and his son call, and he's still complaining about Ibiza. Saturday, during the night, Rob has a mafia dream.
Stabby.
Yeah.
Well, like, they're speaking Italian in the dream, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And then Rob stabs the crap out of Steve.
Yeah. And then the door
Stab.
Then the door wakes him from that glorious dream, and
the man he stabbed is staring at him.
Yeah. Can my son come to Naples with us? Yeah, sure.
Sure,
anyway,
whatever.
so yeah, we're getting into the last couple of scenes. They're in the catacombs in Naples, lots of skulls. They go through this alas poor Yorick riff with each other, saying, no, that's not right.
I knew him, Horatio.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't know him well, Horatio.
Remind me of, I did Hamlet in secondary school. Alas poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio.
God damn it.
Where are your jokes?
I left him at home.
Oh, I'm dead. They don't exist anymore. This is when he's talking like they have a riff on Clint Eastwood as well. And they go to another island where the agent mentioned something about Bridget Bardot movie. I couldn't pick up the name of the movie that the house was from.
Yeah, I didn't write it down, unfortunately. So
no, but
I don't think it was really pertinent to much.
No,
it was an interesting fact of where they were.
No, so they have their last big sort of food scene, and the wine is called Furore, which is quite funny,
like an angry Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of a Furore and
then more bonds.
More
Loads more
Bonds.
bonds. Yeah.
Yeah, going through the different bonds, going through it's Pierce Brosnan in Northern Ireland Bond. James Bond.
That,
James Bond.
that was hilarious.
That was good. Yeah.
Coogan's like, what's wrong with you? It's
Yeah.
Northern Ireland.
Then their Roger Moores are excellent. They're just great.
Oh,
Roger Moores. Yeah.
There.
Rob announces he's got the film, and so Steve's like side eyeing him, going, "What you did?"
Yeah, but it's not a bit. It's not a full part. You know, it's
Exactly.
a bit part. It's a bit part. Keeps reminding him.
Yeah, exactly. So they go for a swim, Steve and his son, and then Rob tells the agent he's had an affair. I'm like going, "What?"
Yeah, this bit annoyed me.
Weird. Yeah,
This is like, what sort of, because he asks. Actually, no, he doesn't ask. He says, "Don't judge me, but I doinked your one on the boat. Also, was that okay?"
she's
what
like
sort of
gone. Yeah, she doesn't.
what sort of line is that?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a bit of sort of a plot sort of development I think they wanted to do, but nothing really comes of it. She's very non-committal to her response to
She
him.
goes, "Yeah, whatever," which is probably the right response. Like,
Yeah, she can't get involved. It's like, don't involve me.
yeah, I'm not your agent, so I'm your friend's agent. Leave me alone.
Yeah. And so, like, we have this sort of wrap-up scene where the agent and Rob are hanging over a balcony, just talking about Roman Holiday and Notting Hill, and Steve's out in the boat with his son saying, "I'm going to move closer to you," and then
Sounds like, nah, don't bother.
yeah,
But it felt like anyway.
kind of did a very teenage response. Oh, really? Oh, cool.
No, I don't want to move. I don't want to still live with mum. I want to live with you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Well, you can come over anytime, whatever.
It's a very flat ending.
Yeah, but the entire TV series is a very it's a low key thing. It's not supposed to be a epic movie. It's not supposed to really. I think they needed to do better. I need to watch the trip to Greece, which was after this one, and see if what they did. I can't remember if I watched it. It came out in 2020 in the height of COVID, and I just don't know if I watched it. I can't remember.
You were drunk that year.
Yeah, it's an entire blackout. I was in Japan, not knowing anything about the Western civilization, so I don't know if I watched it. I'm sure I did.
You didn't know if Europe still existed for that year.
I was out of touch with the world, basically. So the movie just finishes off in a far away shot, long distance shot of Steve and his son jumping into a very golden Mediterranean. Listen, the movie is beautifully shot. It's lovely scenery.
It is.
And I was thinking about jet lag and how they should have looked at this to show how food production, food making shots should be done to get the sort of texture into a plot, you know?
Oh, it's well done food porn. You just see the food and you're like, yes. Apart from the fish food, because I hate fish. I know it's weird, but yeah, like the Italian pastas just looked so yummy.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to basically just go, all right, let me just go to Italy quickly.
Yeah, and a couple of times I've been to Italy, food is genuinely that good. Pretty much everywhere you go, unlike some places in the world.
Yeah. Well, Venice is a crazy place of not knowing where to go for actually non-touristy food, because everything in Venice is tourist driven.
I both love and hate Venice in equal measures. It's too many people, too many tourists. I was one of the tourists, so I couldn't complain so much. But
that's exactly how I felt in Venice. I went twice. The first time I just loved it. I fell in love with just the romance of it, and I wasn't with I was with a friend, but I felt so back in time and so beautiful, and just enjoyed my time there. The second time I went, I was like, oh my God, get me out of here.
I had two kids with me the time I went. And, one was like a year old and one was 4. I had to carry the 4-year-old back half across the island. Yeah.
That's not probably the best city to choose.
No, it was brutal. Oh, but we weren't actually staying in Venice for very long. We were just there for a couple of hours. But
to peep it, yeah.
It was not stress-free.
We should do a trip around Italy together to recreate Byron and Shelley's debauchery.
I can be depressing as crap at home.
Yeah, but you can have wine and pasta.
Oh, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I gave the plot 2 out of 5. I don't think it deserves below that, and I don't think it deserves above that. It did production is great, but the plot is crazy. It's just not anything.
And I'm going to be a bit mean
Yeah, that's
to
fine.
somebody I really like. I really like both these guys, and I really like their writing normally. I give the plot 1. Yeah, it's
That's fine.
just I don't see there is any story, to be honest, other than 2 guys go on holidays.
Yeah, I think the fact that somebody's thought of the idea of this and just said this will be fine. We don't really need a plot. I was like, okay, fine.
You don't need a plot sometimes. If the interaction between the characters is strong enough to carry it, then sometimes plot isn't that important. I think maybe a little bit more might have been good. Just a thread of a plot. There isn't really much here, unfortunately.
Thankfully, you gave 0.25 to Hermia and Helena, so you still appreciate this more.
Jesus, I do, absolutely do.
That's okay. I was just checking back there on my notes just to make sure you aren't fucking insane.
I'm not that insane.
Yeah. All right. I gave the acting 2.75 out of 5 just for the fact that they're 2 entertaining people that can riff off each other. The supporting actors I don't appreciate, but I'm giving 2.75 for all of the entertaining jokes and improvisation that they do.
Yeah, again, close to here. I got 2.5. Mostly because the 2 lads are interesting to watch. The supporting, as you say, some of the people who are supporting aren't actually actors; they're just waiters and waitresses. So it's half documentary, half movie.
Yeah.
So 2.5. Yeah, listen, that's what it gets. It's 2 lads doing impersonations.
Yeah. Sound brackets track. You've got Alanis Morissette, and you've just got sort of incidental background music. I just gave it 2.5. Wasn't crazy, but it was okay.
I give 3.5. Would you
Damn.
believe? I very much enjoyed the nostalgia of Alanis Morissette and having the 2 lads sing along to it kind of had me chuckle.
Yeah, not bad at all. And production is my highest score. I'm giving it 3 out of 5. I think the shots, the production of the scenery and the food, and just I think just the cinematography in general is fine. Anything other than that they're pretty average, and I think 3 is decent.
3 is a good score, and that's what I give it as well. It's good, as you said. The cinematography, the scenery is beautiful. The food is porn. There's not much to produce other than some nice scenery. So what is there is done well. So 3, I think, is a good score for them.
Yeah, cool. So Mick LaSalle in the San Francisco Chronicle gave it 25 out of 100. He said, film anybody's trip to Italy and it would be more interesting than this, or at least equally boring.
Oh, harsh.
Quite harsh, yeah. Nikola Grozdanovich in the playlist gave it 100. By the time the curtains draw to a bittersweet close, you'll walk out feeling rejuvenated, satisfied, well replenished in humor and culture, and already planning your own trip to Italy.
Sure.
Yeah, Chris in Entertainment Weekly says, while the sequel lacks the novelty of the first course, it's just as soulful and silly. So I think it does lose that bit of novelty, and I think that is reflected in the user scores on Metacritic. So let's say arrivederci to the trip to Italy. Is that Italian? Yeah, I think so.
Arrivederci. Yep.
Yeah, Inglorious Bastards. Exactly. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Yeah. All right, so let's choose another random movie from Metacritic's all-time movie list to see what we get. We've got movie 2646.
Bloody hell, we're doing okay in the scores.
We're doing okay with the scores. No 5-digit numbers recently. All right, and movie number 2606 on Metacritic's all-time movie list is The Disaster Artist.
Oh, I have never heard of it.
You've never heard of it? The movie about The Room?
Oh, I've heard of The Room.
All right, so this is the making of the movie done as a movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder. Yay!
Yeah. So the summary is: with the disaster artist James Franco transforms the tragicomic true story of aspiring filmmaker and infamous Hollywood outsider Tommy Wiseau, an artist whose passion was as sincere as his methods were questionable, into a celebration of friendship, artistic expression, and dreams pursued against insurmountable odds. Based on Greg Sestero's best-selling tell-all about the making of Tommy's cult classic disaster piece, The Room, the disaster artist is a hilarious and welcome reminder that there is more than one way to become a legend and no limit to what you can achieve when you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. So I believe I read the book. I read Greg Sestero's book. I also watched The Room, and I also believe I did watch this movie at some point.
I have not done any of those things.
It's an A24 movie.
Oh.
It's got a Metascore of 76 and a user score of 7.6.
Oh, they're them's good numbers.
They are good numbers. It's runs for 1 hour and 44 minutes. So I'm guessing after you watch this, you might want to watch The Room, or you might want to watch The Room before this. I don't know. Or you just don't watch any of them. You just watch this movie.
I don't know. I've seen clips from The Room, which would inform me as to how good it is.
Yes, you probably just go to YouTube and just search for the most iconic scenes from The Room, and then you'll see it.
That's basically what I've done in the past, because I've heard people talking about The Room, and I decided to watch some of the scenes from it. It was enough to inform me that I didn't really want to watch the movie itself.
Yeah.
Other than just, it's like watching a car accident. You know, you don't want to see it, but you kind of can't look away type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you got the Franco brothers, you got Seth Rogen, you got Alison Brie, you got Zac Efron, you got a bunch of people. So yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So it'll be fine. It'll be a decent enough entertaining thing to watch. I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's average enough, but we'll see what we think when we watch it. So we will see you in episode 56 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews. Keep on liking us on all the platforms you listen to us on, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Ciao, Bella.